Hey guys, it's me, Slam Griffin, and today I'm going to teach you my favorite software for guitar arranging. It's called Guitar Pro. On this video, I'm going to show you some of the cool, fun hacks that I've developed over the years. Really cool, fun, unorthodox ways that I use Guitar Pro to make arranging super easy. Now, one time on Reddit, I made a post about how Guitar Pro is amazing and it's really amazing for guitar arranging and you should use it. And people commented, "You're a shill for Guitar Pro. You're just trying to make Guitar Pro sales. Clearly you work for Guitar Pro." And that's not true at all. And I was offended that people said that. And I was just trying to help them. But, you know, hopefully one day I will work for Guitar Pro. And hopefully they'll see this video and take me into their, you know, I'm sure they're beautiful office buildings. And I'll make the company more valuable, I hope. But in the meantime, I'm just going to talk about why I like Guitar Pro a lot and why I think it's really rad for arranging. But of course, I can't do it here. Okay, we got to come over to my computer, dog. So I'm going to grab my chair, right? Let's get into it, dude. So in order to explain what I want to explain to you about Guitar Pro, I have to do it here at my desk, which is where I do all my arranging, right? So let's put this on. Hide that bald spot. And then let's just dive into this, guys. Okay, so I just dragged this little MP3 file into Guitar Pro. This is what you do when you start. This is what I do when I start. I'm going to show you a little bit of the syncing process. So basically, this is going to be really quick, but it's essentially like the first step of every arrangement that I do, which is to take the MP3 file, drop it into Guitar Pro, and make sure it's sunk properly with the measures of the actual piece. So the first thing you have to ask yourself is, hey, what time signature is this in? 2, 3, 4. I'm hearing 4 beats, okay? So the idea is that like I'm choosing with these little brackets and stuff what to call the measures of within this audio file, okay? 3, 4, and then I think 2 starts right here. 1, measure 1, 2. 2 starts here, I think. And then I think 3 starts here. And I think 4 starts here. And then one of the ways I help myself is I'll enable this click right here at the top, and I'll make sure this metronome sounds correct. It doesn't have to be perfect, right? Just has to be good enough. Right? And then I'll add a little bit more here. By the way, if you're wondering what this amazing track is, it's from an unreleased Kirby game. Just kidding. I made it. Okay. Okay, and I just keep going through it, making sure this click sounds good. I'll go here. Okay, now with this piece, it's a synthesized. It's something that's made in a computer, right? So it's going to be a little bit easier to sync because there's not going to be tempo drift. So sometimes if you're trying to sync something that's like an actual player, like a guitar player, if you're doing like a guitar transcription, for example, tempo might fluctuate slightly, and that can be a little tricky sometimes. But for these purposes, I just want to show you the kind of the overview of syncing. So this is perfect. Yeah. Sounds good. The beat sounds right on. Yep, we're good. And in any of these measures, if I click them, it'll start right at the beginning of those measures, which is what I want. Perfect. Okay, cool. Now, that's essentially syncing. Now, what's amazing about that is that anywhere I click in here, let's say I click on measure 6, for example, I press play, I'm going to be in measure 6 on the audio. If I go to measure 8, I press play, I'm going to be in measure 8 in the audio. Now, in some cases, it will be the case that you will. In some cases, it will be the case that you will need to use this thing called an anacrusis bar. In this particular example, you don't. Basically, it's like you give yourself a bar 0. So it's anytime there is, there's basically content that feels like it exists before the first measure, which obviously kind of doesn't make sense. Like, how could you have music before the first measure? Like okay, the song like Happy Birthday to you. Actually, it feels like the beginning of the song, the first beat of that song is actually birth. Happy birthday to, right? So if I was arranging Happy Birthday, which I might do someday, because that song is amazing. Then you would have to use a pickup bar for that. So you'd make a little pickup bar and you'd put the happy in that extra content before the first measure. Anyway, I don't even know why I'm talking about that because this doesn't have a pickup bar. So you get that's the idea. That's how you sync files. Okay, that's the first thing I do with every single arrangement, and you want to make sure you do this right, because if you don't and your sync is off, then you're gonna have a hell of a time and it's gonna suck, and the experience will be annoying and it won't work, and you'll be like, why does this measure sound weird? Why are the rhythms all messed up? Your sync sucks, bro. Okay, now I'm going to show you what I would call step 2. This is the next thing that I do, and it's a little bit unorthodox, and it is putting in rhythms first. So I don't worry about melodic pitches yet, and I do focus on the melody first, always, but I will put in the rhythms of the melody before I do anything, and that's for several reasons. Okay, the first of which is that I like to focus on one type of task at a time. So instead of worrying about like splitting my brain, I'm thinking about pitches, I'm thinking about rhythms. You can do these things separately, okay? So that's the first reason. Now the second reason, and the main reason, is going to become apparent after I do it. So I'm going to do it first, show you kind of how I do it, and then I'll talk about why it's so powerful and so important, okay? So I'm just going to listen to the rhythm of the melody. This is the rhythm of the melody. Okay. Dun, dun, dun. So I'll just go like this. 1, 2, da, 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 da. Boom. Is that right? Am I doing that right? 1, 2, da, 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 da. That. Now, I also have to put in the rhythms of rests that are happening as well. I can tie these over later on. I mean, there's kind of more, there's more to say about this, but I'm just going to kind of do it quickly. One, two, three, four. And then we have a long rest. Check this out. I'll copy this over. Don't rest. Bum bum. Bum. Da 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 da. I think that's what it does. 1, 2, a rest of 2. Now I've been doing this forever, so I'm very fast at it, and I do teach people this. 1, 2. Bum 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 bum, and that's it. And then I'll call that the end of that particular section. Okay. Now I could go into more here. I could do the rhythms for this section. You know, it would be like ba da 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 da. One. And this would be I think a dotted. When it's something that's a diddle, like a grace note, I would just deal with the grace note later. I wouldn't worry about putting in the specific rhythm of that. But for this, and then of course I would copy this over to here, blah blah blah. Anyway, I'm not going to do all that stuff, okay? But that's what I would do, okay? That's what I would do. Now, the nice thing about having the rhythms in first is that I can now select any chunk of this music and listen to just that chunk, okay? And you'll do this on, I'll do it on the melodic line, but I'll also do it on the bass line as well, and maybe I'll do it on the inner voices as well, so I can listen to I can select any amount of rhythm of this particular MP3 and listen to just that. I'll show you what I mean. Okay, take the first half note. Oh, sorry. That's what I wanted to do. There we go. Damn, just hearing that note over and over again. And that's because I have loop on. But if I don't want loop on, let's say I want to listen to the next note that happens. How about this one? How about all 4 of those, right? How about on loop? Right? I could just go grab my guitar and figure this crap out, right? And it's so much better than the alternative. The alternative to this is what most people are doing, if they're even doing this, is they scrub through the MP3 and they go, okay, I'm working on this chord, and they move the playhead back. In fact, I had this whole system, which I've talked about in other videos, where I would literally have to make markers and stuff because I was trying to make things as efficient as possible. But screw that, right? This is like just, it's just like so much faster. It's so much faster doing it this way. So much easier, okay? And I've got all the rhythms done for that. And now I can just move on to inserting pitches into this when the time comes. Now, there's a million and one things from this point to the end of an arrangement. And if it's something you want to learn, I do teach it, and I've taught a lot of people it. And there's a link down below if you're interested in that. You don't have to click it if you don't want to, but it's there for you in case you want to click that in your own time, if you're interested. Okay, I'm actually going to go over the next thing that I would do in this process. I use the fretboard view to input all my pitches. And let me show you something really cool. If you right click this fretboard view, like let's say, where's the first note? I think it's an E, right? Oh, I have steel guitar. How fun is that, man? So what I would do is I'd have my guitar with me in my hand, and I'd be using my left hand to like find the pitches, right? But I can even do this without the guitar at this point. If you right click on the fretboard view, it will create a note over that rest. Okay, it'll create a note over that rest. It will maintain the rhythm of that rest. Okay, so we're not wasting time by doing the rhythms first because we maintain that the whole time. Dun to dun, and we'll go, and then I'll tie it over, and then I know this melody because I made it. Tie. Okay, now that took me like 3 seconds, right? This went really, really fast because I already know this piece of music. I know the melody, but I actually don't. I've never tried to figure this out on guitar. I didn't like try to figure this out. I was able to do it that quickly. Just because I'm so used to clicking around in this view, and I know what a half step up is going to sound like, and I know what a whole step up is going to sound like, and all that. So no, I didn't pre-write this on guitar and just entered it in. Okay, I did. I do already know the melody. Like if I did like Happy Birthday, right? I know. Oh, it's up here. Right, so I can kind of do that with the fretboard view because it's basically like you're almost improvising. And that's how fast you can be at it. Now, I'm a little unfair advantage because I know this song, but that's absolutely what it does. It goes... And what I would be doing with songs that I don't know is that I would have my guitar in my hand, and on my left hand I'll actually be figuring out what the pitches actually are, and then inputting them like this, one-handed. Okay, that's another little trick right there. But this is a great way of doing it, just because I love separating the tasks. I love that I can do just rhythms. I can just focus on that aspect of things. I can just think in that way. And then I can think about just pitches, and I can just think in that particular way and complete that particular task. It makes things really linear. Now, there's a whole bunch of stuff involved. For example, like let's say, okay, I don't want to go up to 10 here, right? This seems silly. I go up really high and then I come back down. What if I want to keep it all, down, for example? Well, because of the fact that I'm using a piece of software, and now, all the note information exists as data, I'm able to manipulate this stuff very, very easily. So I can really easily try out different positions and stuff. I can move it higher up on the fretboard if I want to. And this is literally what I do, and this is like kind of the beginning of what I teach people how to do. But essentially that's what I wanted to show you in this video. It's just kind of the preliminary steps and how powerful Guitar Pro can be for guitar arranging. And there's obviously more to it than this, but I think you kind of get the idea of how much faster the process can be when you're harnessing technology. Okay, and that's it. Hey, buddy, if you like this vid, I'll do more like it probably. Go ahead, give me a like and a subscribe if you want to. That's all, bud. Okay. Bye.